All right. We're live. It's what is it? 15 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. G'day, Paul.
All right.
Yeah.
We've sent the VFL team out tonight.
Yeah, we don't normally start. It is a VFL team. We don't normally start these streams before the game. It's not pre-game live or during game live. It is supposed to be post-game live.
There's nothing live about this. This game is dead.
This game has no life at all. Oh, what a smother from Tom Stewart. Incredible.
Trying to find a pulse for the Cats out there at the moment.
Got to find something.
They were never in it. I mean, they've not for a second in this game they've been in it. People can say, "Oh, yeah, no, they had the lead for a while," but it was like 6. It was like 5-5 to 6 straight. Those sorts of things. Different points. Like they were peppering away from the very beginning. There wasn't some moment where the game got away from the Cats. They never had it in their grasp at all. What an awful night.
Lucas isn't happy. He's not happy. I don't know what I'm watching either. What is going on? I think there's a bar of soap out there with Geelong's name on it, but apparently Gold Coast don't seem to be using the same bar of soap. It's anyway. I'm
going to get the ranty sort of stuff out of the way now because I'm going to do the match review after I bounce out of this and have it ready for tomorrow morning for people. Oh look, Ollie Henry.
Hey.
Someone didn't pump it in on their head, so there we go. That kicks off my my ranting part of it. At no point tonight did Geelong demonstrate any capacity to learn from their opponent, learn from the conditions, and adjust their game. The entire night, they have been launching it into 50, big 50-meter long bombs, and trying to go relatively deep with it, which is, I guess, in one sense, fine. But you don't have Hawkins, you don't have Cameron.
No.
The ball, the weather doesn't allow really for this sort of kind of high marking, physical lean out with your hands. We saw it early on that the effective disposals inside 50 with the likes of Grind, where it's low, it's lace out, and it's onto someone's chest. And even now, Brad now admittedly Ollie took it with his hands. You could argue he could have probably just taken it up here on the chest as well. It's just kind of a bit of a high risk sort of chest mark. Again, it was the success came from a pinpoint pass rather than this high floaty bullshit where we don't have the key forward stock tonight to compete. And anyway, we shouldn't be doing that anyway. Gold Coast haven't played that way.
No.
When they've gone forward like that, they've also failed to take the contested mark. It's not been that sort of a night. Gold Coast adjusted or knew what the conditions were like because they've done it before. We just kept bashing our heads against the wall and a definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting the result to change.
Another free kick to Gold Coast.
Headset morons tonight.
Another free kick to Gold Coast. What are we up to now with the free kicks? Yes, Geelong did not lose this game because of free kicks, people, but don't worry. I am going to rant about that later on. Don't worry about that. At the same time,
there has been some abysmal decision-making from the umpires. You're right. It probably wouldn't have. The free kicks probably wouldn't have adjusted the scoreline at all. But it's 23-12 on the free kick count as things stand. The way we play is the issue here. Yes, I was worried beforehand if I had enough time to change my tip, I would have changed my tip because Sam DeConing going out. When you add that to 4/5 of our spine was gone. With Hawkins, Cameron, Stanley, say what we want about his form, and then you add Sam DeConing into it, 4/5 of the spine was gone. We took out DeConing and put in a small defender with Tui. Just a bit of a mess tonight. And right now we're just trying, I don't know, what can we do to just try and protect the percentage? It's already taken an absolute beating tonight. And they're just handballing up the ground without any problems.
Oh no, they're linking up and chain is beautiful. It's just we just look completely the opposite of them. I mean, I don't know. I did have a feeling going into this game, Paul, that it reminded me of I think it was 2009 maybe, where we had a few players out and the coaches just said, "Screw it, let's just pull a few more blokes out." And we went in with 11 blokes out of the side or something like that anyway, and got absolutely smashed Brisbane at the Gabba. Not thankfully, I actually bought flights and premium seats in a box and everything for that game too. That was great. Yeah, we we got smashed. But it feels like one of these games where, you get a rest. Sam DeConning, you got a little, you're a bit feeling sport. You have a rest too, mate.
I've missed it. What was Sam DeConning out for?
Who knows? Back awareness. He realised he's got a back. So I'm grumpy, Paul. I am very grumpy.
Realised he's got a back. The way he carries on sometimes. I'll let you have it. But
maybe he's being in detention or something. I don't know. Where
look, COVID smashed through half of the hoops crew this week. Maybe COVID got through the Cats and they've just not announced it yet.
It's possible. Who's this bloke having a shot here? He's been out tonight.
He's looked pretty good though.
Lloyd.
Good over the course of the night.
Lloyd.
He wasn't the name for me though going into the game, but yeah, it escapes me right now.
If you're watching this on replay, we have started the live stream a little bit. Well, not early. We started on time, but we have started halfway through the third quarter. He sprayed that kick a little bit.
Oh, there we go. Free kick to Ben King.
Free kick Geelong? No, the other way? Yeah, I think it's going to be Geelong.
No, it's to Ben King.
What do you know? Gold Coast free kick. There you go.
And 50. Oh, my God.
That is the appropriate reaction right now. We have a laugh. Yes, 100 games, 100 days.
You cry.
We're actually live. Can you believe we've turned up? Can you believe we've turned up, Paul? I think that's what you're getting at 100 days.
We've turned up. The Cats haven't.
Yeah.
So to respond to Matt Anderson there, who's kind of commented via Twitter, what did King get the free kick for? I think that was so he absolutely was kind of impeded in the marking contest. I don't think Shannon Neal had any idea of that. And so then the 50 was because he didn't hand the ball over.
Uh-huh.
There you go. You can see Jack Henry kind of push him under. To be fair, he was never really in the contest.
Oh, no.
But we shouldn't have been kind of properly in the contest. But he did get pushed under the ball. And then, Shannon Neal's just took way too long. I told you, I've been telling you for years, the Gold Coast Suns are a pretty good team.
You've picked them for the finals. We know that. But don't. Now's not the time to gloat, Paul.
Oh, no. There's no gloating going on here. There's a degree of I told you so, and then there's a degree of tears. Any chance, and look, it's happening now, but it's junk time, so it doesn't count. Any chance a midfielder wants to get their hands on the ball today?
What about Max Holmes? How's he travelling? What's he got?
He's been one of our best. And I think because of that, they've gone and tossed him into the midfield so that he can actually, again, be a midfielder who actually touches
31
the ball.
touches and a goal. 31 touches and a goal. He's getting votes tonight. I'm telling you right now, everyone, Max Holmes is getting votes, but you can't do it all on your own. Unfortunately, we just haven't had enough decent players running through that midfield.
Here's one of the things that I think caused a big issue for us early on in the game. I like the idea of one way equals Conway. I like the push the ball forward sort of mentality that really Richmond birthed however long ago it was now, beginning with 2017, just get it forward at all costs. Because of the way that we structure up as a team, I don't love it. And the number of times today where it was slap the ball forward. We're like this surge team who kind of plays from behind and goes. So slapping the ball forward when you know that you've got the outnumber going the other way isn't working. And it showed tonight because we'd slap the ball forward or we'd kind of just handball it over the shoulder or whatever, expecting someone to be there. Of course you don't, because they're all in front of you, ready to surge with you. It's the old handball to the bloke running past sort of mentality that should absolutely be playing. And tonight they just seem to have completely forgotten how to play football. Or how to play their own game, actually.
Structure's gone completely out of it. Skills haven't been there at all. And look, some personnel down, clearly.
Again,
has everyone been... Have we all not been screaming out for Conway? Have we all not been screaming out for Shannon Neal?
Oh, can Shannon Neal hold a mark? Like that one wasn't even bombed on his head.
Oh, the grind mice kicked to Shannon Neal, where he absolutely fluffed, and it went down the other end for a goal. Can you believe that one? Yeah, I think it was in the second quarter. I'm pretty sure they went on a 15 goal to 3 run at that point.
There's Max Holmes again, and
Humsy again. Give him the 3 votes. No Brownlow votes, but hang on.
Brad
There's
Close.
a goal of the Cats. Here we come. It's not too late, Paul. It's not too late.
And someone will say it's an honourable loss soon, and it'll be okay.
It's a brave comeback. Nah.
Who's this bloke with the Geelong logo tattooed across his chest?
He's ready to go. He's ready for another 6 on the way home. All right, I'm going to post the link. I'm going to post the. If you want to come on, if you've got a webcam or if you've got I don't know, it's called a smartphone. If you want to jump on and have a chat and let us know how you think the game went, because clearly I don't think there's going to be too many of us that are going to get on here and praise the club. There might be a couple of players. Well, there'll be some players. There definitely will be some players, but
I think he's had a pretty good day, considering.
Yep.
Obviously you touched on Max Holmes before. He's been pretty good. Parf has been good. He's also he's been on and off throughout the course of the game. You could tell he's been trying to play a pretty tight role against Matty Rowell, and so look at that, coasts into 50.
Oh, another goal.
Unimpeded. Nothing to see here. No defenses.
24 goals. This is right. And do you know what it is? I think I figured out what the problem is, Paul. Because
Cyril was in the crowd and he spooked us.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is, and this happened last week against Port. I found myself, my wife didn't punch me in the arm, but she felt like it. I started singing the club song, the opposition club song, by accident. That's because I do that when it's not my team playing and
you get around them.
I'm just singing the Port song last week, and tonight I started singing the Gold Coast song. And my wife said, "You've jinxed it, haven't you?" And I said, "I reckon I might have. I reckon I may have." For those that believe in that stuff, I'm sorry. We are what are they? We are the suns from the Gold Coast sky, and we'll never say die or something like that.
You skipped a bit in the middle there, but it'll do.
I know, that's okay because it's.
The coach is his feet.
Here we go. Oh, yes. You are kidding me, Geelong. You have got to be kidding me. This is rubbish.
Thanks to everyone who's tuning in to watch us potentially pass out live on camera.
Oh, see this camera? I spent a lot of money on the camera. It's not a camera. It doesn't actually film. This microphone. I spent a lot of money on this microphone, but it's just about to go flying across the room right now. I'm not happy.
It got so bad that I started marking school assessments during the game. Like that's how well.
You downgrade them a little bit. Did you give them a little bit less of a, maybe not, you weren't feeling as generous this time, Paul?
Thankfully, I don't have any. Well, I can't be doing any of that. Year 12s, I can't have that. I'll get ripped a new one. We're already having a new one ripped from us tonight. I don't need to make that too.
Temptation would be there though if it was any other situation. Oh, will Brad Ottens be fit next week?
We'll take him. We'll take him.
I reckon we'll have Dawson Simpson. Mumford, can we get Mumford back? Can we keep a ruckman? Can we keep a ruckman, Paul? Can we find a ruckman? Love you, Toby, but we seem to lose them more.
He's had a bit of a mare.
Toby's all right.
You cannot question his effort, though. Toby's really thrown himself at the contest quite a lot tonight. Like it hasn't worked out for him, but there's been quite a few. Oh, look. Oh, I'm surprised that wasn't a holding the man free.
Look at this chain. This is great. 50?
I can just see Grind standing there at the moment. Oh, well, yeah, we're probably slightly lagged out of sync or something. This looks like a chain. Look at that. That looks beautiful.
Grind through the midfield. And we took a mark. Sorry,
over our heads.
An overhead mark. They do exist. Watch this. Watch this strength. No arm chop there, clearly. Trips over at the most crucial moment and kicking in danger, but no, didn't get paid. Free kick count update, Paul. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'll check it.
I'm
stressed about that one. 25-12. It's gotten worse.
I reckon what we should do tonight, Paul, is with the viewers live, I should start penning a letter and I'll get the viewers to help me write this letter to the AFL. I think it needs to happen. I really do.
Yeah.
What can Toby do when all their mids are 2 steps behind?
Big Mackie. Big Mackie. Yeah, anyway. has nailed it. Like I said, Toby's kind of thrown his all of this, and he's absolutely been kind of sold up shit creek on a few occasions there. Yeah, the midfielders have done nothing.
You're kidding me.
They've done absolutely nothing. When's Danger back?
Next year, apparently. Yeah, it feels like it. Look at this. Here we
Gary
go. Junior. Scarlett would have been good down back tonight.
Buddha Hocking will do. Come back. Yeah. It's been a couple decades, but
John Devine. Get him around. Suit him up. Holly. Okay. How far back can we go?
He was a ruckman.
Joe Selwood.
Joel just needs to get out of the commentary box and anyway.
Oh, we butchered another one. That's great.
Look, at least we've still been accurate.
We've kicked 80 points. We've kicked 80 points. We've nearly kicked 200 points on us. If we're not careful, they're going to be nudging 170 or something in wet and sloppy, greasy conditions. People,
has it been wet? I think it's like 34 degrees up there.
No, but look at it. They're playing with a bar of soap, but it's still okay.
It's sweat.
I should have queued that song up.
It's just man boy sweat all over the ball.
Man boy flesh sweat. Yeah, it's not been good. Has Cam Guthrie?
That's why no one can tackle Bailey Humphries apparently. Oh, thank God.
Bit early. It's too early to go Cam Guthrie. He's coming back. He's only 3.
No, we leave Cam Guthrie alone. Look, he had a get it tonight, but
we went hard at Ray Stanley though.
Unlike the Reece. Oh, Scratcher Neil's taking a mark over his head.
It happens. Oh, hang on, cramp. Give it off. How good was the Toby Conway kick in the first minute of the game too?
Yeah, that set a tone, didn't it? Too far away from Mike. That set.
I was up and about because Toby's taken a contested mark in the first minute of the game. Here we go. 101 goals for Tyson Stengel.
We kick one goal every 10 seconds.
It's doable.
We win the game.
It's definitely doable. I reckon. Let's do it.
I think our midfield can do it. We could also give away a goal a minute for the next 4 minutes too.
Are you able to hang around for
a goal every 10 seconds for the next 4 minutes as well?
Can you hang around for a few more minutes, Paul? I want to bring in Bianca and Brendan while the game's still going and just get their live reactions to this.
See them in the corner. They look like they're having a great time watching the game as well.
Yeah, I want to get them live and see how they are in the heat of the moment. Here they come.
Yeah,
here they are.
Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, not good. It's not good, is it?
No, it's not great. I think we're ahead of you by about 20 seconds.
Yes,
I'm watching on KO, so there might be a bit of that.
Shannon Neal's going for goal.
Oh,
is he?
Yeah.
Shannon Neal's going for goal. So we're at.
Oh yeah, I can see how this would occur.
So we could still score 100 here. That'd be a bit of a.
Oh, chess mark Shannon Neal. That's how you do it.
But that's. I mean, he's having a shot from a long way out, and Brendan, I guess, will confirm in a sec what the result was. But I'm putting money on. Oh, I was going to say I'm putting money on spraying to the right. That goes back to my point at the very beginning when we started recording, though. Like all night they've put it way up on their heads, and every now and then it sticks. But it's been like 1 out of 10. As soon as they put it lace out, that is a good kick.
Nice.
But when they put it lace out, and Grime was the best one for he's kicked 2 now. One kind of that snap kind of early in the game.
Yeah.
When they put it lace out and Grime, kind of showed people early in the game what to do in that regard, there hasn't been any issues. They've just chosen to not play that way. When you hit up a leading forward, surprised they don't necessarily have, it's more likely to be an uncontested mark. I do like the point that we may yet still score 100 points.
We could.
And,
No.
Dimmer doesn't even love it. Dimmer's got a dirty look at his. Again, they're all out of sync here, but
here we go.
Get him.
All right. At least you and I, Paul, are in sync with each other. Maybe not. The audio might not be, but at least on KO, we seem to be in sync with it.
Yeah, I assume
Keep your
I
feet.
assume Brendan and Bianca are watching it live on 7 or something.
Yeah, we got it on 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Bailey's going. Humphrey's going for goal.
Oh,
no.
what's that? 5 for him if he gets it.
Yeah. I think
When's
that's-
our Humphrey's going to get a game? Can we get
Lawson
our
Humphrey.
Humphrey?
He
I'll take
has to
Humphrey B. Bear
play-
out there tonight.
He had Bailey.
I did-
Lawson Humphreys has to play a game.
I did say that last week that maybe they might have thought about bringing Lawson Humphreys in for
Yeah.
Max Holmes and pushing Max Holmes into the midfield. But it's showing sort of he's our best midfielder and he hasn't played midfield tonight all that much. So, get stuffed.
Bailey. Oh, it feels like we're about a minute behind you guys. Bailey Humphrey's lining up for how many goals does he kick? 4 goals. He gets this one, does he, Bianca?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, 170s. Is it 170 goals is on the cards tonight, people, and that will be an absolute embarrassment if we concede 170 points.
Yeah.
We're breaking all kinds of records.
I think the embarrassment was when they hit about 150, let alone anything else. Oh,
Yeah.
this is a
They're
train
loving
wreck.
it as well. Like they're really like
Oh, but as you would,
they got a bit of confidence.
you're a young team wanting to make it. Well, not even that young anymore. They're starting to hit the peak. You know, that prime sort of age bracket for the most part. But you're keen to make a statement. You've got this unreal coach that's come in. You
Careful.
wring everything you can out of it when games like this pop up.
Go, 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 go.
Mate.
I love
can't
your
handle-
enthusiasm, Bianca.
Can't handle hardwood ducking.
We're still waiting for the ball to get thrown up after Bailey Humphrey's goal.
Watch Toby
He can
Conway.
still make 100.
Chris Scott moving the
Oh,
magnet.
Toby straight out of the ruck.
Oh, Toby. The disco's
Grind.
tripping the light. Fantastic. Grind Myers from 55. Surely.
That was nice.
Most people
Bang!
wouldn't have picked Grind to kick a goal outside of 40,
Is that
let
a-
alone
is that 100 points
75
for
metres
that?
like he just kicked it.
Easy.
As they say, first to 100, not second to 100. First to 100 always wins, but maybe not second. So, still, how many goals been kicking this
No,
game?
not when there's 66 points between you.
15. Okay. It's 16
Toby
goals.
Conway.
Look at that. Little hot stepper.
Like I said, he
The
hasn't
big
necessarily
Billy.
had the best of nights, but you cannot question his effort, and he's had some really good moments as well. He's just been
He's
let
saying
down,
true,
as
mate.
was kind of mentioned. I can't remember who mentioned it before.
Yes.
Um,
Good. Oh, come on. Pay advantage.
my big Mackie mentioned before that
He's got it again.
what was
the
it?
face.
There's,
Don't
there's
touch his
two
face.
lies on anything. Maybe it's just
Oh,
Big Mac. I'll go with that. Big Mac.
Do you
He
reckon they're
pointed out
watching
before
this
that, yeah,
live
like
feed right
he's had no support from the.
Oh, Neil. God, take
Is this
that.
an umpire not calling advantage again?
Yeah,
Yes.
probably. yeah. Because they paid earlier tonight. The Gold Coast player took the advantage. It didn't come off. But what happened? Oh, they just let it go.
One more.
Good.
You know,
That's good.
whatever. The AFL ticked that one off, won't they?
As a surprise, we booted it deep into a forward line and expected people to take
Sure.
contested marks.
Because it's going to work the 100th time we do it, Paul. It'll work the 100th
Throw
time.
enough shit at the wall, something's going to stick at some point, right?
Oh, here we go. Jai Clark injecting Grind again. Grind's been good. Grind might get the 30 touches for the first time this year.
Hmm.
I reckon he's going to get his 30th touch.
99.
That's all we're taking away from this game is a couple of player possession stats. Stengel kicking his 100th goal for the club.
The
Right.
club.
What else can you do? Yeah, for the club. Not for the AFL. I can't remember what he's kicked for the AFL, but
Come on.
he's taken a bit over 2 years to kick 100 goals for Geelong.
Come on. Neil, give us.
Pretty good strike rate.
And Sam's come in hot here. Sam's coming real hot. Bunch of failures. Review everyone at the club. Let go. Chris Scott. Listen to his press
Got a bit of
conference.
spice to this one.
Tom Atkins free
How much
kick.
chili did you have for dinner, Sam? You're fired up. Oh,
Go
well,
back,
we're
go back.
all fired up. We're all fired up. You're not going to be the only one there, Sam, feeling a
Tom
bit of
Atkins
rage.
might
tonight.
kick. Tom Atkins after the siren.
Oh, come on. Launch
that's
at
a
50
free
just
kick.
so that we can hit the
Oh,
ton.
look at that. Look at the umpire give a free kick when it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. When it doesn't matter anymore. Free kick Geelong. Oh, the free kick
Nothing.
differential wasn't that bad.
Goal sorry, a free kick being paid.
We
to
had
us.
100.
We made 100.
Was it a goal?
Oh,
Nah.
no, of course not.
It'll be a handy behind.
It's a handy one.
Lost by 64 points.
Oh, Braden Dixon here is asking for the link. Where is the link, man?
I'll post it again, buddy. I'll post it again.
Oh, there you go. I've just dropped it on the screen. So,
Oh, you've dropped it too, have you? You're too quick.
well, I presented on the screen, but
Oh, nice. Beautiful. Yeah, anyway, copy and paste. I think you can just click the link down there or whatever. We'll get it. We'll get a few people. We've got a couple of people in the queue.
Yeah, anyway.
I can see Johnny in there in the green room. I can see Lucas in there as well. We'll get to you soon, guys. We want to hear your thoughts.
Yes, Big Mac. I'm 100%. And please clarify in the comments if I'm now referring to you right rather than Big Mackie, like I was saying before. Because I think I butchered it earlier on. Yeah, it does feel like Atkins is being wasted. He's a contested ball beast, and he's being kind of taken away from the contest. So
He should be a midfielder.
it feels like he's not being used
35
properly.
disposals to Matt Rao. We cannot do that.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought the
Noah
Gold Coast
Ransom with
Guns
4
would have a day out
What?
against them?
That's better.
It's better. The old
But again,
Lance-
I guess the Gold Coast midfielders are going to get their hands on the ball plenty when your midfielders aren't.
True. Paul, I haven't been able to play the club song yet. I was queuing this up last week. It didn't happen.
We're just going to do it anyway. Okay.
No, it's not getting the full run. I'm just giving
Yeah,
the tease.
I can see
That's for
Lucas
next week.
off screen at the moment, shaking his head, deservedly so. Bad call, Ben. Shit call.
Oh, come on. We're due.
I'm
We'll
still
save
looking
that-
to come up
save
with
it
some
for
other
next week.
stupid embellished comment as well, just so I can lean into like the footy classified good call, bad call, rubbish.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that's right. They did it without Mac Andrew for the whole second half of the game, who was destroying us in the first half.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the
Yep.
other bloke that he collided with, did he come back out there? Or were they playing with 2 on the
Yeah.
bench the whole second half?
He came back on.
An
There he
absolutely
is.
disgraceful game. Absolutely.
And
Bailey
I'll
Humphrey,
bounce it
5
now.
goals, 1.
I'll linger around in the background. I'll creep the whole time. But
Jack Precocious.
because I can't
5
go anywhere.
goals.
I'm not going back in the house
All
when
right.
I've got COVID. So
Jack can't.
I'll
Work the buttons for us. Collins, I don't know where Colin is at the moment, but he's not here, so you'll have to do the buttons. for us.
Colin is 16 beers down. Thanks, Valhalla.
And the rest.
And we're not gonna find him.
All right, mate. All right, I'll have a chat with
Bounce me
Brendan
back in
next
later on.
week. I'll get you
just
back in
loiter.
a bit later if you're
I'll
around.
do some
Yeah,
more stack marking since I've got nothing better to do now.
no worries. See you, mate.
See you guys. Enjoy.
Cut him off. That's the way to do it. You cut him off early.
No, it's not.
All right. The game is officially over. Bianca, let's hear your thoughts first. Not your overall thoughts on Geelong's performance tonight.
Our
What do you reckon?
midfield just got smashed.
Mm-hmm.
Our defenders, I think, could have worked a bit harder. Like having Sam DeConning out with that hamstring. Well, like my dad said he was going. The Geelong weren't going to play him anyways because the ball was too wet and slippery. So it's not a game for like marking. And in that last quarter, we got only like 2 marks, overhead marks. But the umpires did not like us in that game.
They were not. And whose fault was that? Was it Chris Scott's fault?
Yeah.
Do you think Chris Scott will say bad things about the umpires in his press conference today or tonight?
Hopefully, so then they know why we're upset.
I think the umpire sent a message to him tonight, especially in that first quarter. It was
In the
all right.
first
Then
quarter. Mhm.
we tap out. We get it. I think I wrote it halftime. All right, can you knock it off now? All right, we get the point. We won't talk about the umpires ever again. Jeez, just give us some mercy here. And
He didn't even criticise him. He just talked about
No,
the
I know.
umpires and how
But-
hard it is to umpire.
but
But anyway.
what he also said, it happened 3 times in the first quarter where we were spinning players around
And they didn't pay a hole in the ball.
and they're not paying a decision, and then they're getting rid of the ball after they've been spun around 3 times. It was happening again today. So, just sometimes you just got to bring them to ground, just slam them, and if they hit their head on the ground, they just it is what it is, I guess. But
Yeah.
Having
I did think that the Gold Coast midfield could get on top of us, and they did. So
and having Jezza out, I think that really hurt our forward line. We didn't hit the scoreboard as much as the weeks where we dominated. So I think, like the commentators say, Chris Scott should switch magnets around and put maybe Max Holmes in the midfield.
yeah, they did.
Max Holmes had a lot of possessions today,
Yeah,
which was pretty impressive for him.
Third play.
And kicked a goal too, which is nice. But he was doing it all himself, unfortunately. It needed a few more friends to help him out a little bit there. What did he get in the end? 30, I think it was 32 possessions. Gryan had 29. And Ollie Dempsey did reasonably well with 25. That might be a personal best for him, I'm thinking.
yeah, I'd have to be. Yeah,
Yeah. But all for nothing, really. Who cares? Brian Myers was great. His disposal, he made a couple of errors, but everyone's going to make errors in those conditions. But he looked fantastic, and Max Holmes just kept going, especially after all the talk last week that maybe he won't play this week because he was a bit proppy, a bit sore. Maybe he's due to be managed. If anyone probably deserved a break, he did. He looked like he was gone at multiple times in that Port game, but it kept coming out, kept fighting till the end. And he's done it again this week. So, if you want to try and find some positives tonight, people, don't look too much further than Max Holmes and a bloke that we really absolutely love these days, and Brian Myers, those two absolute champs. And probably Ollie Dempsey. Look, he was a little bit all over the place, got a lot of it. But he just kept trying to find it. He kept working hard. It wasn't his day, but he'll have better days. Just wasn't able to sort of weave his magic a little bit too much today. What do you think of Tom Stewart's game? Or what do you think of Tom Stewart's last few weeks?
Yeah, he hasn't had a good last 2 weeks, that's for sure. But
coming back from injury.
But they didn't really get into him like Port did. But
Port really stuck it up him.
His confidence is definitely still down from last week. But
and I think Jack Henry didn't have a really good game.
I don't think most of our team didn't have a very good game today, but it doesn't get any easier. We got GWS next week.
No, we have Richmond.
No.
And but haven't we got an amazing record against GWS at home? Haven't we got an awesome record against them at GMHBA? Or have I misunderstood?
Won the last three.
Well, they lost to Carlton.
I think they've won the last three at GMHBA Stadium against us.
Well, they've lost to Carlton, so that should be easy.
But we'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom Hawkins going to break the record, and we're going to turn our season around.
And Jez and Hawkins are going to have 100 goals between them.
Hey, Bianca, I want to ask you a non-football related question.
Yes.
What's your favourite bobblehead or toy on the wall behind you over there? I can see Miss Minutes from the Loki show.
Yeah, it's back there. There's quite a bit. There's quite a bit there. Yeah.
Tough question.
These are actually mine. Hers are in her room.
Oh, okay. Why haven't you got the big 12-foot Thanos toy?
Make my nerdy corner look tame.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Look at your weak thing in the. What have I got? Nothing. I've got a.
That's just the superheroes there.
Hang on.
And then I think we got like WWE over there. And then we got like UFC and
the football section is all the way back there.
We've just converted the garage, so yeah.
Nice.
We've got a bit of stuff.
You got the garage.
You got like 20 toys.
Paul's in the shed.
Yeah.
Poor old Paul. He's been banished to the car at the moment. He's been sleeping in the car because he's got COVID and he doesn't want to get the family crook. He's
not banished. I chose this for myself. I paid the price the first night. I underestimated how cold it would get. Second night was a lot better.
Why don't you just put the mattress on
three
the floor
blankets, a
behind
dressing
you?
gown, 2 pairs of socks and slippers. I got through it.
You don't want to sleep in the shed? Like, I'm sure there's some
Mate,
floor
it gets
space
even
there.
colder in here.
Okay.
I can at least take 10 minutes to fire up the car, crank the heaters up to max. bake it out of myself and then go back to sleep again. No, we're a lot better in night 2.
Good. Back in the house soon, hopefully. This is the new man cave. Yes, this is the new man. This is what man caves look like in 2024. We're happy with it though. I've got my my Steph Curry top. It's not very Geelong related over there. There's a little bit of everything. The picture, this little one in the white frame here, Sambo from the chat cats did that, and I got that sent to me in the mail maybe about a year ago now. I can't remember why I got that. They were just being really nice to me. So thank you. But anyway, back to the footy. Because I got a couple of people in the chat. Final thoughts, guys. Is the season? Are we in trouble, or are we going to trot out the same line from the last couple of weeks? It's all good. Nothing to worry about. We won the first 7. It's all good.
We got to find something.
We're in a lot of trouble because then everyone's gonna come above us because everybody's like 28, 24. We're like 28. But now we'll be 24.
We're going to do something to spark the midfield. That's
we need a midfield bull.
That's got to be the start there.
You keep saying it.
People keep saying Mitch Hardy. Like, you got to try something. Like, it's not even when we were winning the first 7 games, we were still getting beaten in the midfield. It was purely just the fact that we were fighting out the games, and that was how we were winning. We were still getting beaten in the midfield. We just got to find something. I don't know
because we have a young midfield,
and like the club knows it too. Because the last few years we tried to get Taranto, we tried to get Hopper, we tried to get Smith. So they know what we need, but it's just
they're trying to get Oliver.
It's hard to get.
Yes, Smith.
So
yeah.
Oh well, but we just got to stay on board, and we're going to turn it around next week.
Do we stay positive? We stay positive, don't we?
Stay positive. Hawkins is going to come back. He'll kick 6 next week.
We're allowed to complain. No one says we can't complain, but we can have a mix of bit of a whinge, bit of a rant, but we stay positive.
All good.
Oh,
let's just have a whinge now about the umpiring for a moment. I just remembered from the beginning of the game there where they tried to give a free kick to GWS.
Yeah.
We play them next week.
No, man.
They've already got 1 free kick on the board. The game hasn't started yet.
Yeah, I made that mistake too. And I was like, oh no.
But that's all right because we're not paid to do the job. But apparently the blokes who are paid to do the job still can't do it.
We're not paid.
If I failed to do my job properly, I'd get the well. Actually, you can't. There's teacher shortages at the moment. They couldn't sack me if they tried at this point. But in most other industries, you fail to do your job, you're out.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying that maybe referring to the Gold Coast players as GWS players is worthy of being sacked, but it's a bad sign. Anyway, I'm going to keep bouncing in like Dickie Knee for the rest of the show.
So GWS start 1-0 in free kicks already, all right?
You know it's going to be like 10-0 next week against GWS. You guarantee it. We'll give up the first 10 free kicks.
Yeah,
I can feel it happening already.
We have Tigers.
When Toby Green starts getting him right.
Yeah. Yep.
The week after we have Richmond, so that should be easy because they haven't won the game.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. I reckon you've jinxed it, Bianca. Don't worry. I promise I won't sing the Giants club song when they run out on Saturday next week. I have a bad habit of doing that. If you've just joined the chat in the last few minutes, I was kind of singing along to the Gold Coast song this morning as the game was just about to start. I was like, oh, what am I doing? But never again. It's a bad omen. Don't do it. People, try not to do it. Guys, appreciate you coming on after a loss. It's hard. It's so hard, but you made it. And we'll be back again next week to do it all again.
100%.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Oh, go time. Tough watch tonight. At least we scored 100 points. Yeah. Still hard though, isn't it? Benjamin Harris, have no idea how Lawson Humphreys and Sully are not getting a game. Yeah. You'd think Sully would have got more games by now than just 1, but okay. All right. It is what it is. All right. Can you believe it? Johnny's back for the first time in a loss. John, welcome. We had a loss. Oh, can't hear you, mate. You might be muted. One sec. I'll come back to you. Give me the thumbs up when you're ready to go. He's good. He's good to go.
Sorry.
Is
that better?
That's heaps better.
Okay, awesome. No, but I was going to say that wasn't the reason that I wasn't on the previous shows.
I know, but we took the opportunity to have a crack anyway.
Well, look, at this rate, if I don't come on when we lose, I might never come on again for the rest of the season.
Correct. Way looking. Jeez.
I don't know if you saw the latest Sir Swamp Thing tweets, but Gold Coast first side to kick 26 goals on Geelong since Melbourne in 1994. And I don't want to take away anything from Gold Coast in this game. They were impressive, and a scoreline of 26 goals, 8 behinds. That's an impressive stat line.
Yeah, you don't see that very often, do you?
A little bit unsustainable, but yeah. I thought our line was good as well. 15-10, 100 points. That's not bad either. So, but no, I thought we got absolutely smashed. I was thinking before the game, I was like, okay, so it's going to be in Darwin. It's going to be really hot. This is not favorable conditions for us. So we're probably going to lose this. I didn't think we would lose by this much. But, watching the first quarter, it was a little bit competitive. But just watching Matt Rowell and Touk Miller operate through the first quarter, I was like, wow, they are all over us. And I was thinking, we're going to get tired, I imagine, around the second or third quarter. And then how's it going to go from there? And it was exactly how I imagined it from there.
15 goals in the second and third quarters combined.
Yeah.
After we hit the front and we were looking good. 6 goals, nada at one point.
We were looking great in the first quarter. Yeah.
Couldn't miss. So effective inside 50. And so okay, this is going to be a fun game. This is an a close contest.
Yeah.
They're not going to give it to us, but our young squad is playing very well.
Yeah.
Shannon Neal dropped an easy mark, and then that's all she wrote after that. Pretty much from that point onwards.
Shannon Neal played a very young player performance, I thought. Like that goal that he kicked, was it in the first quarter or second quarter, which just beautifully curved around. It looked like it was about to hit the post, but then it just slid through. That was a really nice goal. It was good to see Tui kick a goal in the first quarter as well. Bruin kicking a goal in the first quarter. I thought Stengel was good. I thought Ollie Henry was really good through the first. All of our good parts were all sort of in that first quarter and a half, and then it got away. And you can talk about the free kick count, 25-14 in the end, but it absolutely had nothing to do with us losing, is the reality.
No, it didn't. Just that 1994 either moment says we did get smashed by Melbourne that year, but we also made the granny in 94 as well. Guess what happened? We also got smashed in the granny too.
Yeah, okay. But having said that, wasn't when we were 7 wins and 0 losses a couple of weeks ago, we were pulling out all the stats of how every other time we've been 7-0, we've at least made the grand final. So it's still on the cards. I will say, with the team we were fielding tonight, I don't think it will be a possibility. But also at the same time, I completely understand the decision, I think, to field the team that we had. We were very young tonight. We had a lot of, I thought, sort of either Falcons players come up and come to Darwin. I think we sort of seemed to manage a lot of our older players tonight. Even Cam Guthrie, right? He wasn't playing bad, but it was he's one of our older players and we're clearly losing. So let's sub him out of the game and make sure he's not an injury risk or, going to get too tired.
It was well, we can't win. What's the point? Making this guy run around for 120 minutes. That was the first sign that we just conceded the game at that stage. The coaches clearly knew that we were a bit cooked. Was it 6-day break in hot conditions against a team that came to play tonight? To be fair, as we've said, we can whinge about Geelong till the cows come home. We can whinge about the umpires. We can whinge about a whole bunch of things, but Gold Coast were just too good. They handled the ball beautifully, and they didn't. In good kicking is good football, and a few things clearly early days didn't probably go our way, and that's. I don't think you can say that's the reason why you concede 170 points or whatever it was in the end. But that is a scary scoreline though, mate. Wow.
It is. Broadcast was just saying before though that the Gold Coast Suns are 6-0 playing up in Darwin.
Yep.
I think it was unfortunate for us. Like for one, Thursday night, so it's a quick turnaround from last weekend. We don't get the day or two extra rest that we need. We're on the road going up there to Darwin. It's just not favorable conditions. It's 30 plus degrees. I think everything was stacked against us, really. But again, I don't want to take away from the Suns. I don't know enough about the Gold Coast Suns to really comment on them and their team and their performance. Thought they looked really good though. Like if aliens came down from to Earth and saw the Gold Coast Suns tonight, they would think that they're the best team in the league by far with the way they played tonight.
Yeah, probably. I don't care about the Gold Coast Suns. Sorry, anyone who's from the Suns watching this, but I'm just not invested in your club at all, and I'm still annoyed that we lost. Hang on,
all 10 supporters are heartbroken by that.
All 10
all 10 of them.
Welcome back to Kicking Egg.
I might.
That was it.
He just pops in when he wants.
Yeah.
It is very much like Hey Hey It's Saturday for any of our older viewers. Remember that show where Dickie Knee just pops up. We just need to get somehow Paul popping up from the bottom of the screen with the back of his head and just, doing whatever it does Dickie Knee does. Oh, there we go. Oh dear. Oh, hey, Noah Anderson. I don't like. I'm not a big fan of the Suns, but I don't care either. But Noah Anderson, 41 touches. Goodness me.
Yeah,
41 goals too.
Sam Flanders, I've been on him all year, and he has been paying dividends. Matt Rowe's been playing pretty bad, but he played a really good game tonight as well.
Yep.
Linking up with Tuke Miller was amazing. Alex Sexton, he's been dropped a number of times this year, and he came back tonight and killed us. But when I was looking at the schedule at the start of the season, I was like, okay, Gold Coast Suns, like we could win that game if it's in Geelong. And it was like, okay, we're not playing in Geelong, so we're playing at the Gold Coast, I guess. So maybe it'll be a bit more competitive, but I think we can still win. And then as soon as I saw it was like Darwin Thursday night, I was just like, that's asking a lot.
Do you know what? I don't know the stats. My gut tells me we're not great in Indigenous round. I don't reckon we've won that many times in Indigenous round. Don't know what it is, but I'm going to have to look that one up after the show. See if I can figure it out.
Couldn't tell you. The Sir Douglas Nichols, the home and away split.
Chris. Nah, it's one of those things that just we just haven't travelled that well during these particular matchups for some reason. I'm not sure. 0-2 in Indigenous rounds last year, says Ethan in the chat.
Yeah, okay.
Just going back 12 months, but I'm pretty sure it goes back even further than that. I'm not sure if they keep stats on that kind of thing, but So we got GWS next week.
Yeah, I was going to say, so having said that, we started 7-0, and that was better than I thought. I thought we would start 5-2 because I thought we would lose to Brisbane in Brisbane, and I thought we might lose to the Blues, and we didn't drop either of those games, so that was impressive. Having said that, 3 losses in a row is not good, but we always knew that this was going to be the really hard part of our season. So we've got the Giants next week, then Richmond, then the Swans, then the Blues again. For some reason, we play the Blues twice in 8 weeks.
Yes, for some reason, and they'll get us next time.
And then the schedule gets a little bit lighter from there. We play the Bombers at the MCG. Despite how good the Bombers have been, we usually spank them pretty well. And with the Giants, I think we might be a chance to win this game. The reason I say that, so for one, we're in Cardinia Park, but for 2, the Giants have not been playing as well as people think that they have been from the start of the season. So based on like a couple of stat models that I've got, they've only covered their spread, so like their implied total, once in the last 5 weeks. So they're losing, and the only game that they won out of that was against Brisbane, and they smashed them, but it was a really close line anyway. So based on that, they're not playing as well as people think they are at the moment. Now, this might be their perfect bounce back game, but they did drop the game to Essendon last week, so I wouldn't rule us out completely. We're going to have to definitely field a better team. We're going to need Hawkins back, Cameron back. Be good to get some other guys back as well soon. But I think we're a chance.
They're playing the Bulldogs at what is it? Ingy Stadium in Sydney.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't get a read on the Bulldogs, but the way they're travelling, they could get smashed by 100 or they could win by 100. You just don't know with the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah. That'll be a big shootout game because both teams. So again, the implied spread totals for both teams. So Bulldogs play overs all the time. So that's like wherever the line is like 170 points, for example. 6 of 8 games have all gone over for the Bulldogs. So and similar for the Giants. So that's going to be a big shootout game. So hopefully they get tired from that, if that makes sense.
Ethan saying in the chat, GWS have won 3 straight at Cardinia. Does that change? Does that change the numbers for you?
No, because yes, they won last year at Cardinia, but we won the previous 2 times against them, and they were still competitive back then as well.
Okay.
So even though we won at Cardinia Park, I know what you mean. It's like maybe it favors them as well. But also last year was a really close game. That was before we understood the Giants as like this really, really professional football team. We thought they were still the young Adam Kingsley, first year as a head coach, halfway through the season. They've started slow. Like whatever they've done to date, it looks impressive. We don't think they'll make the finals, but they gave it a red hot crack. And then all of a sudden it was like, wow, they made it almost all the way. And that game against Geelong at Cardinia Park was kind of the first game that really like started that snowball effect for them. So it was a crazy time for the Giants last year. I'm just not sure if they repeated at the rate that they're going now. So we'll see.
I don't know what we're going to have to do next week. Who are we going to manage out of this game? Because it seems to be last year the buzzword was medium-term injury. This year it's managed. Who's being managed this time around? Does Toby Conway get managed again? In comes the Lord Saviour.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's whoever has
Stanley's back to save the day.
Save us, Reece Stanley. You're our only hope.
Yeah, that's why we lost. It's whoever has the most pickle juice during the week, I think, because they were all cramping hard at the end of this game.
Yeah, who's going to recover the best? Well, I don't know who's coming back in. We've got probably DeConning comes back in, you'd think.
We're going to need an answer in the middle, though, because they're midfielders in, Finn Callahan, Josh Kelly. They got Tom Green, Toby Green playing half forward. Like, they've got a lot of superstars.
It's Reece Stanley.
It's Reece Stanley. Reece is the answer. He's the question and the answer.
And he asks more questions than he answers.
He asks more questions that he provides answers for sure. I don't know. Like it's becoming a bit of a problem. Let's not get carried away. I'm upset that we lost. I'm very upset that we've lost 3 in a row. If we were 5-5, I'd be ripping memberships up, putting them in the microwave and driving and never coming back to Geelong ever again. No, it wouldn't be that bad. But I think everyone had us pretty much finishing 10th or 12th this year, and we enjoyed the first 7 weeks because we got to stick it up. Don't. I don't want to hear that. I'm not going to listen to that right now. You just settle down. I'm not going to pack it up just yet. Look, if we lose to the Tigers, I'll sit here and I'll listen to you talk about that. Ethan said, last year was Riccardi's breakout game. It was, and this year will be Finn Callahan's bloody breakout game again. So we'll see what we can do. Which umpire will have a breakout game?
Callahan already broke out. Yes, I know. Yeah. I'm just listening to reading Ethan talk about all the players on the Giants who have broken out. That doesn't help us. It's not you're bringing down the vibe.
Pump it up.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I think we're in with a chance. I think that I think we'll be favored in the game. I think we'll be favored by like 2 points.
well, you heard it here first, everyone. Geelong's going to beat one of the premiership favourites in GWS.
Yeah,
next week.
yeah, quote me. And no, but the time works for us as well. The 4:30 Saturday game as well. That favors us as well. We like that time slot.
We do. It gets the people if you're a Geelong supporter living in Melbourne or outside of, a little bit of a trip into Geelong, you've got time to come along to the game and get home at a reasonable hour as well. So there's no reason why we shouldn't get 40,000 people at the game. Yeah. Very disappointing last week that only 29,000 showed up because the Bureau of Meteorology said there might be a little bit of rain. Didn't get a single drop. No, just didn't turn up. And you could sense that the crowd just had no energy last week.
If we lose to the Tigers, that'll be problematic. If we lose to the Swans in Sydney, I'm okay with that. We might drop another one to Carlton. So we might even be like 7-7 or 7-8 halfway through the season. But then it starts to pick up a bit for us. Bombers, Hawks, Pies, Bulldogs, North Melbourne.
Hey John, do you want to see if I've won the Powerball live on Post Game Live?
Yeah, please, please.
I could be $1 million, and if I do win the $1 million, I might just hit the end stream button. Actually, no, I'll stream all night long because I'll quit the job. I'll quit my job. Did I win?
The stream doesn't end until Ben stops counting the dollar notes that he's got. I know, wrong currency, but
seems I may not have won.
1, 2, just gently count them out with the count style. After each dollar.
Did I win? No, I don't think I won. Anyway, thanks for putting up with me for a few seconds there, people. I don't believe I won that game, but anyway,
you're still here, Ben.
I'm still here, unfortunately. I haven't been able to quit my job yet. I might have won a little. Actually, did I win some money? Might have won a little bit. There you go. I paid for my next ticket. There you go. Moving along. Anything else we can say about the game before I let you go, mate?
No, not without going into multiple history books, as the commentary team did by the halfway through the third quarter. I'm going to chuck this game out. I think it was no shade to the Gold Coast Suns. They played really well. I just think a lot was going against us, and I don't think I'm going to be looking by round 24 back if we're on the cusp of making the finals and say, oh man, if only we'd won that game in Darwin.
Yeah, I don't think. I think that's probably not a game that I'm going to put back in the VCR tomorrow morning and watch all over again.
I'm not discouraged by the D's loss. The Port loss was discouraging, but their backs were against the wall, so it makes sense. We haven't dropped a bad game yet. Like last year, we lost to Freo in Perth, and then we lost to them in Geelong. We lost to the Giants in Geelong. We lost another game in Geelong. I think we lost to the Bulldogs right at the end of the season. Like there were so many games that we should have won that we didn't. It's a completely different story. I'm not feeling that way this season.
Anyone's watching the Chris Scott presser live right now, please share some quotes in the chat. I've got the sound turned down, but I can see him sitting there looking all calm and measured, and it's all fine, people. The world is not blowing up. The sky isn't falling. I'm sure he's not happy though, but he probably won't let it on. So, what can you do at this point?
I'm a great reader. I believe he said word for word, what the fuck do you expect when we don't have Hawkins, Cameron, De Koning, Stanley, Duncan, or a clue how to play the game of football?
I saw you subtly drop Stanley in amongst those names.
Yeah.
You trying to slide that one past me?
I'm just going to build a bit of a narrative here. After everything going the other way, I'll have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
We just need to keep this going. We get rid of a gun forward, or if a gun forward doesn't play, we bring in a young fella. We bag them out, and we want the forwards to come back that haven't been going that well. And I think a lot of people bagging out Sam De Koning. Probably would have been good to have Sam De Koning today. That'll be an interesting one to review that a little bit further and see how much of an influence his absence was on the result. Seemed to Maybe lost a bit of structure there down back. Don't know. I'm not sure. But
Jack Henry, just the 7 disposals. He's the one who's on my radar as like the I need you. Him and I, we talked about this a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, in Tom Atkins, who played a better game tonight. But those two have been on my radar for a little bit now. As like I'm not seeing them play to the level that I've seen them in the past.
At the moment, says Chris Scott is keeping his Powerballs up his sleeve. He doesn't care because he's won Powerball.
I'll pile in on the Jack Henry thing. I know he's had a particularly dirty night tonight. I won't go crazy about tonight, but there has been a bit of a pattern recently, and I had kind of concocted a nickname for him over the course of the night. If you've got children nearby, cover their ears.
Bleep it out.
Call him Foreskin because when things get hard, he disappears.
Oh, God.
That's it. Can I get one of my hang on.
Sorry.
Is this my...
when he gets it, yeah, I'll keep the dicky knee thing going. Anyway.
Yeah. Get you a little wig. Oh dear. All right. I'll better get to a few others in the chat, mate. Appreciate you coming on though.
Fair enough.
It's tough when you lose, but you got a front up, don't you?
That was more than just losing. Losing is putting that admirably. Thank you for that.
Oh, it was horrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
Enjoy the night, I suppose.
Until next week.
Yeah, we'll go again. See you, buddy.
That's it. See ya.
All right. Let's get Lucas on for a chat. Let's see what his energy levels are like. Hello, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Paul and Ben. My energy levels, pretty low. Wow, what an embarrassment that game was. And incidentally, I'm not talking about the umpires. No, just our midfield just completely smashed by Anderson, Turk Miller, Flanders, Rowell. Just smashed in the hard ball game. Loose ball gets, hard ball gets. Every time the ball went on the floor, we just capitulated. And that's not just the midfield. You look how many times where the ball went on the ground in the forward line for the Gold Coast. It feels like they're going to kick a goal every time it just went to ground. They almost did. No effort, in on the inside. Myers, I thought Myers was good in this game, but that's one player. Stengel, when you got the ball, did well. But it's kind of a trend happening. We saw this last week against Port Adelaide in the first half or first quarter, where same motto. So many players in space, smashed inside. Every time the ball went onto ground, they seemed to kick goals from anywhere, with zero pressure. And it came really out of nowhere. Look at the Melbourne game where, our defense was dominated by defense. In the last quarter, it opened up a bit. So it's really came from nowhere. This Tom Stewart's been out of form the last couple of weeks, but he's came back from an injury, so that's hard to kind of get into that one. I don't think Jeremy.
Yeah.
I don't think. I don't think Jeremy Cameron will probably have a good game next week. Probably because of the same reasons. But if you look at it like this, we're still in the 8. It's not doom and gloom. I think a lot of this result can panic a lot of people, and probably rightly so. But we're still in the 8 now. Unfortunately, we play a team that has got the wood against us against GWS and Geelong. That's probably the only team in the AFL where you'd probably say, they probably can beat Geelong and Geelong. So that game probably won't tell us much. But if we see the same trend inside mid smashed, where ball touches the ground and GWS score goals from it, that will worry me if we lose that way.
Yeah.
That will be a very worrying problem, especially if Tom Stewart has another bad game. That will also be a little bit worrying. If you have one bad game, Port did get into him a little bit, or practically all game last week. Not so much Gold Coast, but he wasn't Tom Stewart of old. So I'll be a little bit more concerned if that happens again next week, because we I think he's very crucial to our system. Tom Stewart is probably the best intercept marker in the game, but probably by a mile. People will probably say the Sam Taylor from the Giants, but I still think it's Tom Stewart. And he's had very good games. You know, remember that game against the LA Crows where every time they bombed along, Tom Stewart was there. We need that Tom Stewart at our club. You know, if we're any chance of not just making finals but winning finals. So I'd like to pass judgment on that one just for another week. But it's just the last 2 ways we've lost. Granted, we came back against Port Adelaide. But still, that trend of just inside mid, hard ball, loose ball getting smashed in, getting it on the grounds, not competing on the grounds. That's a little bit worrying for me, especially if it happens against GWS, who are just very dynamic in that area, very, very prolific midfielder. Midfield. So that's a concern because last week Port didn't have Connor Rosie. And Butters has completely smashed us. Noah Anderson smashed us. Turk Miller smashed us. Rowell smashed us. So there's a bit of a trend there. Again, it can come down to rucks. Look, he didn't have a good game, but I don't agree with this M-word managing. I don't know why we've obsessed with it this year. For me, you play your best squad week in, week out. Now, I understand, 5-day breaks, 6-day breaks, but we're only in round 8. What was it when we started to rest players against Melbourne? Was that round 6?
I feel like we've been resting players the whole year.
Yeah. So
Dicky Knees here. Hang on a sec.
I wasn't even going to be a smartass this time. No, I'm with you on it, actually. I can appreciate it when we're talking about like a Tom Hawkins or someone of that sort of vintage.
Yeah.
But when last week Jack Bowes, for example, he's 26 or whatever, he's like, he doesn't fit the bill.
No, I don't get that. Why are we resting players so early in the season? Okay, if it was round 19, 20, I'd get that. I'd understand that. But not early this year. That just amazes me.
Flirting with form.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Paul, flirting with form. So I'm not going to stand here and criticise Chris Scott, after what he's done for this football club. But I just wish he didn't do that and stop managing players and just let them play. As you said, Tom Hawkins, fair enough. Patrick Dangerfield, fair enough. But not these young players that, only 8-9 weeks into the season getting managed. That's just completely insane. So I wish we didn't do that. But it was just the ease of the way the Gold Coast Suns just destroyed us, just like Port did in that first quarter, and we really couldn't do anything about it. We came back, Port game up this time. There was no comeback. We just probably got what we deserved, and that's a bit alarming. Ben,
mate, I completely agree. That you mentioned the Port game. It felt like that first quarter went for about 3 quarters tonight. I'd say the first quarter was fairly even, and Giants were getting it in there a fair bit and probably weren't making the most of their opportunities, whereas Geelong was. And then the second quarter rolled around, and what do they kick 7 goals or something like that, and then another 8 goals in the third quarter, and then I stopped paying attention because after the fourth quarter, I can't remember what we kicked in the fourth, but it was disgusting.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It's a streak of goals that we couldn't stop, just like against Port Adelaide. And tonight in the second quarter, I thought our start was pretty good. Well, compared to last week, anyway, we kicked goals. We were in the contest. I thought going after that quarter time, I thought, I was a bit nervous about going into this game because Gold Coast do actually have a very good record in Darwin. But after that first quarter, I thought, I think we'll be fine. Boy, that aged well, didn't it? But it's just the streak of goals that's happening 2 weeks in a row. Now, I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic and say, it's probably just a couple of bad weeks. GWS, as I said earlier, they have Autoverse in Geelong for some freak reason. No one knows. I'm sure other AFL teams would love to know that recipe that they've got. But I think if we like this in the Tigers game, if we lose the Giants that way, and then we lose the previous week that way, I think now we've got a serious problem. Because we've played against good teams. Carlton was a signature win. How we battled in that fourth quarter. Adelaide, okay, people can joke, well, Adelaide is not as good, probably one-hit wonders last year, but they still, any win at Adelaide was very tough against the Crows or Port Adelaide. So I think that was a good win. So we've beaten decent teams, very decent teams, and we were not disgraced by Melbourne. Probably should have won that game, could have gone either way. But the last 2 weeks has just been so disappointing, Ben, and this, like I said, the streak of goals, not able to stop that or clamp it down, or at least go man to man. I thought in the Port game where they kicked 3 goals in a row, I thought we should have went man for man, just try to clamp him down. I think on paper we've got the better list than Port. We've probably got better list than Gold Coast. Just clamp him down, see what happens, and we didn't do that tonight again. So it is concerning, but I'm not saying we're not going to make the eight. I actually still believe the way that we've got our draw, Ben. I still think top four is not that far out of insanity. I still think we can make top four.
Should happen. But
like we do have a very good draw going out. Like if we can beat the Giants, somehow beat the Swans in Sydney. We know how good they are in Sydney. If we can win those games that are 50-50 or 60-40 to the opposition way, and then win the games we should going into the finals, there's no reason why we shouldn't make top four. Top four, that's a home final. Well, hopefully home final, depending who they play against, which that's a different conversation for a different day. I have strong beliefs on that Geelong, all finals in Geelong should be in Geelong. But there's no reason why we shouldn't make top four if we can just win these 60-40 games, or so 40-60 games and 50-50 games. And then with a good run home, we can win those.
I think we're not far. Well, I don't know. Could be not far away. From one win, you feel like it turns it around. But you mentioned we look good on paper, and we do, and it just feels like there's two Geelongs. There's this team that is just incredible and untouchable. How do you beat them? They're impossible to beat. They're invincible. And then you look at the team. Sometimes you go, they're no chance. They're VFL. Their level, it's just something about this particular team. And I'm not having a crack. It's just an observation. Actually, this is not a crack at the club at all. It's just like the formula is there, and when all the ingredients are just in the right amount, it's perfection. It's premiership football. But if something's a little bit off with those ingredients of that formula, it tastes like crap. It just looks completely off. Something looks wrong with it. Yeah.
And like I said, it came out of nowhere. It came absolutely out of nowhere. Even the Melbourne game, we weren't this. Like I said, that could have went either way. Maybe we showed a bit of complacent with Port. We didn't know what we would expect. Maybe. Then we came back in the second half. But there was no excuse for what happened tonight. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't let me interrupt.
Go ahead, mate. This is your show.
Oh, no. I timed that entrance badly then. No, I was just like, yeah, we're 7-3. I'm bringing a bit of a negative bent, which is not usually my shtick here. Usually I'm trying to prop Ben up while he's having a bit of a sook and a cry. But I went combing through the results because I think we've maybe had the blinders up a little bit. Hawthorn nearly had more shots on goal than us. Carlton did have more shots on goal than us. And I'm kind of reflecting on some of these wins. In a couple of these cases, it was only inaccuracy of the opponents that kind of gave us the win in the end. And I don't think it was necessarily because they can't kick for goal or anything like that, but more some of that. I'm targeting the midfield again, but some of that defensive pressure from the middle that has just been non-existent in these last 3 weeks. as 100 games, 100 days says in the chat. We only just beat the Saints, and like they peppered away in that last, nearly blew us away there at the end. And it was the midfield that just couldn't lay a hand on their opponent. I think that defensive pressure from the midfield is the thing that's seriously lacking at the moment. There's one half of it which seems to be an inability to get hands on the ball, but then if they don't, they're also not affecting their opponent when they get their hands on the ball and just take off. And we've seen it a few weeks in a row now. So,
well, that you hit the nail on the head. I completely agree. It's pressure. Yes, in those games, against Crows, against St Kilda, against Carlton, our midfield did get smashed. But, we were able to pressure those midfielders enough to turn the results our way.
Exactly.
And the last 2 weeks, the space that the opposition, like the Port game in the first quarter, so much space. It's like Willie Rioli. It's like he was like the invisible man last week. No one wanted to go with him. Same with Noah Anderson today, invisible man. It's just the amount of space that's concerning. And if this happens next week with a Canelio or Kelly or Green, that's real trouble. That's, we could be another spanking, which I don't really want. But as you said, Paul, our pressure is what gets us results. Because just because your midfield gets smashed doesn't mean you'll lose the game. If you can still put on a defensive effort, you can turn those games around despite what happens in the midfield.
For years we've excelled when a midfielder's tried to deliver it into our defensive unit, which is a great defensive unit. Yeah. And when there's a bit of pressure on their disposal inside, it usually results in them pumping it high, and your Tom Stewart's float across, or Zach Guthrie's, or whoever it is, that there's an intercept and off it goes, because we do play a really great game, which is rebounding. But of course, if they are having an easy armchair ride into their forward 50, they're hitting their targets. Our defenders are under siege, and you can't play the game that you want to play. So,
that's exactly right. Last 2 weeks there has been no rebounding, because they haven't had the chance to rebound. Because there's so much space, there's no pressure on the mids, and our inside guys aren't getting it done in the last 2 weeks. So, like I said, I don't want to say the P word, the panic word, but I'd pass judgment on the GWS game. If we put in effort, defensive pressure, and we lose, okay, I can somewhat accept that, as I want to win every single game. I don't care who it is against.
4 in a row, though.
But if we can just show some pressure, like we rounds of 0 to 6, I'd be happy with that. So I think I'm just going to, don't panic, Geelong fans. Wait until that game. If the trend continues, okay, you might have a case. But I think what Chris Scott does a lot is get it right. He's a problem solver. When there's a problem, he does fix it. So I think he'll get it right next week. I don't see GWS spanking us. I'll tip Geelong, because it is in Geelong. I know GWS have that great record in Geelong, but I'll still tip Geelong. And let's not panic, and let's bounce back with a win.
Their problem solvers for the midfield has been playing off half back in the last few weeks. Put Tom Atkins in the guts. There's your pressure.
Yeah, definitely. Lucas, thanks for coming on, mate. I'll keep moving. I've got a couple more to get through before I close out. It's Thursday night, about 20 past.
Thank you, Ben and Paul. Thank you.
About 20 past 11, but thanks, mate, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Now, Braden's been in the chat for a while, and I've got Eden to come after that, and after these two, I'll close the show out for a Thursday night, and but we'll get Braden on. Thanks for waiting.
Hey Ben, how you going?
Welcome to the post game live.
Yeah, my first time. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's all right. Thanks for waiting. I'm sorry tonight had to be the night. Unless you are a Gold Coast. No, I don't think you are a Gold Coast.
No, you can see back there.
We occasionally get some opposition fans to come on, but we asked all 10 of them, and they none of them could make it. So what can you do?
Yeah, nah. Well, the story of my night was a bit weird. I had a basketball game tonight, and it finished about 6 minutes ago in the first quarter, and it was pretty good. I'm like, yeah, look, the scores are pretty even, but the free kicks were like 9-1 or something atrocious. I'm like, okay, I'll get home, I'll see how the game's going to go, and I think that's when we started conceding 7 straight goals out of the middle. Then we got 8 in the third. I don't know. I put in the chat a few times. I'm concerned because we just don't have any brute midfielders. We just don't have any brute midfielders with no Dangerfield. Like Jai
No.
Clark, yeah, look, he might have some issues, and he's banged the sub a few times this year. Get him in there. Get him in there. Like Atkins needs to go, as we've said. The few of the people have said. Like it's just, I don't know.
Atkins. Yeah, Danger's the one. Like I feel like an idiot because sometimes I'm like, Danger's long, he's past it. We're carrying Danger, but then it's pretty obvious since he hasn't been playing. We've looked rubbish, absolutely rubbish in the midfield. It's just completely breaking down, and it's affecting all parts of the game. There's no pressure through the midfield. We're not getting the contested ball. It's getting into the opposition's forward line too quickly, and we can't set up, and we're rush kicking it out rather than playing our normal style of footy. It's just nothing's working,
No.
and I think it's probably oversimplifying putting it down to one thing, pressure in the midfield, but it's definitely an issue. If you're
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I think tonight is a bit of an outlier being in Darwin first time. Conditions do not suit us at all. So I was a bit like, okay, well, what are we going to do tonight? So a few times I was watching the midfield when I got to watch the game from the second half, second quarter onwards, I should say. Just our positioning, like for that centre clearance work, like the boys are just letting Rao and your Anderson, all these boys just go straight through the guts, like whether we got the tap or not. Like, and I think, okay, I think Stanley in previous weeks was an issue, and like the bits I saw of Conway tonight were fine, but I don't know if that's the main issue. I think it's just our positioning around the contest. We've always been a bit of a lacking side in that aspect, I think.
Conway was fine. Like he's a young developing ruckman. He's not gonna be well. If you ask Johnny from the Chaps, he's the All Australian ruckman. His campaign is just about to start. People, the All Australian run is about to begin. But no, he for 4 or 5 games, whatever he's played now, he was fine. He was fine.
Yeah.
You don't expect him to be the best on the ground, but 20 odd hit outs or whatever it was in the end, and 25 hit outs, 21 touches. Toby Conway. Yeah, no, he's fine. He just gets pushed over a little bit too easy. He makes a couple of mistakes, which are often pretty costly. But
Yeah.
you know, we'll comment about him when he played 50 games. We're not going to bag Toby Conway.
Yeah.
5 games in.
And I'm not concerned that we're not playing him every week. Like it's not like I'd rather if the club think we need to ease him into the games, I think they've probably got the right call. I'm not sure, but like I know Stanley is a bit weak at the moment, or has been a bit weak when he's played. And I think in Conway's sort of defence, as Ethan said in the chat there, Moyle was the ruckman for them. If that was Jared Witts, he'd probably get dominated, and we'd probably go, yeah, fair enough. So yeah, look, I'm not too concerned there. I think just like I said in the chat earlier, some of those defenders look so slow at the moment. Like your Cole Jasneys and your Jack Henrys. I know Jack's had some previous, what was it, foot injuries or something. Like he just looks so slow. Like I don't know, and I think that's a bit of a concern.
Just doesn't seem to be reading the play that well to me. Like he's getting himself into bad positions and just I don't know. They don't seem to. None of them just seem to be linking up at all. Hey, Dickie Knee, got a comment?
You can't be proactive and kind of. I guess you're always going to be pretty flat-footed when the ball. Again, going back to my point before, when you're under siege from the midfield, you can't play that proactive sort of game. Yes, old foreskin's a little bit out of sorts at the moment, but you just you can't turn that around when the ball's just being heaped upon you left, right, and centre.
Yeah,
I'm sure anyone who's just joined has no idea why Paul's got foreskin, but
that's going to be in my head, and I better be careful if I say something because I sit near family at the Geelong footy. I better be very careful if I say something like that. Oh, that's funny.
Keep that
That's
one
actually
locked
a
in the
good one.
vault, everyone. When things get hard, Jack Henry disappears.
That's a good one.
he's not coming on the show, Paul. You know that now. We're never getting Jack Henry on the show after that.
So look, yeah, I'm not putting the panic sign up yet. I don't think it's a panic. I just want to see a bit more from the midfield in terms of, and I know we've rotated a lot recently. We haven't had the same guys in there every week. hopefully by the end of the season we're in a good spot and they have a consistent lineup. Hopefully it's a mirror or a disguise that we're putting on at the moment. I don't know. I don't know, but
I wish
it's
we
not
had the
panic.
answers. I don't think we have the answers, but when will the conversation happen? When can we say it's time to panic? Now is the time to panic. When are we going to have that conversation? Is this going to happen after we lose 4 in a row, and 7 and 4 is still pretty good? Like, you take that most of the time. 7 and 4, okay, we turn the corner halfway through the year. 7 and 4, flying. 3 more wins and losses. 7 and 5, yeah, we got problems. 5 losses in a row. I think that's when we start to get really, really worried.
Well, if that 5 losses is what you're saying it is, that's obviously GWS and then Richmond at home. Then we've got
Yeah.
Sydney in Sydney. So that would make us 7 and 6, wouldn't it? Yeah, into the bye. So I don't know. I'm not. I want to keep hope, and I think I've been the most positive I've been about the club in years. Like even in the grand final year, like I think there is a right direction that we're going into, but there's just that sort of lacking. And whether we're holding back these Mitch Hardys and all these fringer players that I see all the fans on the pages on Facebook and whatnot calling for these players to play, whether we're just holding them for a reason to like inject them in like a certain game or something, I'm not sure. Who knows?
It's the card up the sleeve that we're just saving for final. So Mitch Hardy, if you're watching, Chris Scott has a master plan. He's making you wait because we don't want to give away the secrets to this premiership in 2024. Mitch Hardy comes in and wins the Norm Smith, the Gary Ayres medal, wins everything.
Marlon Pickett of Geelong or something. I don't know, something random like that. Imagine that.
It's happening. It's on the cards. I've done the tarot cards and I can see it happening. Mitch Hardy gets debut in the grand final 2024 and 25 touches, 3 goals. And yeah, Norm Smith. Probably can't win the Gary Ayres medal for playing one game grand final, but
no.
best player in the final series. But he'll take a Norm Smith, I'm sure. So maybe that's what's maybe that's what's on the cards for him. I'm old enough to remember. Sorry to just jump in. It's your moment, but I am old.
That's all good.
I am old enough to remember when Geelong won the first 5 games of the year. This was back in the 90s, I think, and then went on a 9-game losing streak after that. So we won 7. We've lost 3 now. The streak continues. The losing streak continues. Probably one of the worst losing streaks in the game at the moment. But it won't be those areas again. I don't imagine. But I must admit,
there's always North Melbourne to make us look better.
Yeah, true. If we lose 4 or 5, if we lose 5 in a row, I don't know if I could front up on post game live after losing to Richmond. I don't know if I could do it. I might have to put Paul in that job. Paul's going to have to do it, I think. I don't know.
I think too. No. You're all right. It's your show. Don't stress. I think too. I don't know because I watch all Geelong, but I watch a bit of footy. But Geelong's games, it was raining heavily at the Hawthorn game. We've had a wet one in Brisbane. We've had this tonight. We've had so many different weather things happening. The Melbourne game was a bit wet. We probably haven't had clean footy as we probably would have liked. Would that be a fair assessment?
100%, yeah. Like, can we just have a traditional wintry game? Can it maybe just, I don't want it to rain because I'm going to the footy next week, but almost kind of like, can we just have typical Geelong weather?
Next week,
a nice cold, 11 degrees, a little bit of drizzle, make it really hard for them. And, we smash them by 35 points or something like that. Keep them at arm's length the whole game. Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, comment in the chat. This is a nice little comment, little pump up here for you. Loving these level-headed newbies on the show. Thank you. Yes, that is 100 games, 100 days. When are you getting on the show? Come on, we've got to get you on next week. I'll show your face. Come on, get on the show. Anyway,
I had to adjust my TV as well because I didn't see Closey in the long sleeve.
No, I've got my.
I was like, who is that player? I thought it was some newbie, and then it was Closey. I'm like, what's going on? But obviously,
You
being the
jinxes.
conditions it was fair enough because Chris Scott even was in the short sleeve too. I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
I've got DK, but yes, unfortunately, he didn't get to play today. So
Yeah, I didn't
No.
even realise until someone said it in the chat earlier that he wasn't playing because I obviously didn't see the start of the game. But yeah, who knows?
sore back awareness,
Awareness.
whatever that is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he just needed to manage a player again. It's this whole who can we manage next? It'll probably be I don't know. I did think it was genius, though. I must admit, I don't want to go back on my thoughts earlier in the year. Like Geelong is the master at managing players. We are awesome. We are just we do no wrong. I think we were 7-0 at that point, just resting players every other week, and it was looking good. And then now it's looking like it's coming off as a bit arrogant, and it's costing us games. It's probably not. Like we're just reacting to a horrible loss. That's what it is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
In the cold light of day, it's like we know we're just being stupid fans and just having a whinge about seeing the simple things that maybe the coaches maybe we're not seeing it as the coaches are seeing it. Essentially, what I'm trying to say, but we're allowed to have a whinge. That's what we're here for. It is a bit of a therapy session, Braden, more than anything else. Sometimes these losses, when you have a win, it's just great to just gloat and to just talk about how the premiership's so close every second year and all that sort of stuff, and how many can we go through the whole year without a loss. But no, at the moment now it's just about a bit of a whinge and a bit of who can we drop next, and who's not up to it anymore, and why isn't Mitch Hardy playing, as you said, and when's Sully getting another game, and all this kind of stuff. And I can't wait till everyone starts crying out for Reece Stanley to come back. Like, give Reece a game. This Conway's not up to it. I can't wait. It happens every year. We bag players out, and when they've been gone a few weeks, it's like, when are they coming back? This new young bloke is rubbish.
The one I'm just a bit surprised with, like even for some speed and that, Sean Manor. I'm not sure why he hasn't been playing, or been included.
Heaps and heaps of love for Lawson Humphries as well.
He's
promised me that he'll come on the potty when he gets announced as his debut. So just having a little chat with him on the socials, and he said, "Yeah, I'll definitely come on when it's time for his debut." So I'm hoping it's not far away. Hopefully he plays well in the VFL. I think they're playing on Saturday. But yeah, if he gets I don't whether he comes on the show or not. I just want him to get a game at this stage. I think he's looked really good at VFL level and shows a little bit. I just want to see how that translates to the AFL team. So I guess they'll just try and find the right opportunity for him to set him loose.
Yeah.
Who do you want to see from the VFL? Who you mentioned Mitch Hardy. Is that the one that you're most keen on?
Look, I probably should take a more keener eye on the VFL. I probably should be honest, but yeah, he's probably the one that I'm not one to say put him in, but I'd like to see something like, if people and many of people are saying he's the one to put in, let's say it. Well, maybe before the bye or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. Give him a 2-week break. Whoever it is in the midfield, I don't know. In the Sydney game, if we think we're going to lose it anyway in Sydney, we'll just do it. I don't know.
100 Game says we don't have a ruck. We just go blitz only.
I liked that last week. I liked that last week when we got Stanley off.
We just chuck Ryan Myers in the ruck, or some other teams have just gone with some weird ruck situations. Just throw anyone in there. Who cares? And just we're losing a little bit at the moment without Blitzarves playing his normal role. He's kind of having to fill a whole bunch of other roles, and it's not really helping. But I guess you're right. Like, I think I'm with 100 games, 100 days. I think the best option right now, if Conway's not up to it, or Stanley's not up to it, or they're injured, I think probably Blitz is your next best option, really. He's probably the best ruckman at the club, let's be honest. But we sacrifice him around the ground when he's in that role, and we probably risk him getting a bit injured too. So I don't know. It's one of those things. It's not always you don't always put your best ruckman in that position because they're good in other roles. Like I'm sure Tom Stewart would be better than probably some of the midfielders going through. But you take him out of the back line, and then you lose a bit there as well. So
Yeah. I wonder if just having a blitz solo ruck would allow us to add another midfielder in, I suppose, in that game. And we usually have Hawkins up forward doing the forward ruck, and then maybe De Koning or whoever it might be in the back line. That blitzers could just stay in that sort of midfield quarter of the field, or the third of the field, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we may just need to accept that we're just going to be rotating our midfielders, and the best will be put out in finals time. If we get there, which we should.
Well, we should be fresh as daisies when we get there because we've been managing players every other week. Hopefully, no major injuries out of tonight. There'll be some tired players, but they've got a 9 or a 10-day break between now and the next time we play at home, so they get to sleep in their own bed for the next little bit.
Straight to Geelong. Get on that plane right now. Get out of there.
Get out of there. Get out of there. This sweaty, horrible Darwin. Get it. No, I'm sure it was nice.
They'll be relieved to get back to the cold in Geelong.
Tell you what, I've seen better stadiums than that one though. That's horrible. That was a bit rubbish. Anyway. All right, mate. I better let you go. I got to get to Ethan. I really appreciate you coming. Please don't make this the last time. Please come on again. Hopefully we'll get you on after a win.
Yeah, I was about to say that, on a win.
Yeah, no. Either way, I really appreciate it. Well, I think the people in the live chat love it when we get the newbies on as well. But I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
No worries. Cheers, Ben. Thank you.
Take care, buddy. Now, the fan favourite, and we're finishing the show tonight with the fan favourite. He is Ethan. He is from. Was that Americans Talking Footy? Is that I get that wrong?
Watching the footy.
Watching the footy. You are the fan favourite. You are the number one. You are the premiership favourite of the live chat on Post Game Live. I'll hand it over to you. Let me know what you think about the game tonight.
Appreciate that. Hopefully this is what we needed, because clearly the last couple of weeks weren't. Because they spanked us. We got our pants pulled down and they gave us a nice red bottom.
That just, I don't know. Sorry, I'm so immature.
No, I got that term from a basketball podcast, by the way. So shouts out Andrew Terrell. But I hope that's what we need, because we kind of saved face the way last week's game ended. I knew we'd be fine offensively even without Cameron, and sure enough, Stengel was good, and even though he couldn't take a mark to save his life, I thought Shannon Neal actually played pretty well and made some really high effort plays and continued to move well. I was actually really happy with the way Neal kept fighting, and I wish other guys did that. I think the fourth quarter was kind of a referendum on a few dudes. I don't think this game has much bearing on it. I hate humidity. I mean, I'm sure going to Darwin and going to a game in the NT would be awesome. Seems like a really intimate experience, but I don't like hot and humid. It's why I don't live in the South.
So you're not planning to visit Darwin? John's asking.
I mean, at some point, probably wouldn't be to see this team play, considering how poorly they played there. But I mean, I've listened to a few other people talk about how much they love the experience up there. And I mean, the coast looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I was a little disappointed, and I don't know if this is standard practice, but some of the vets who were rested this week didn't even fly up there with the team. Is that normal?
It is at Geelong. I think they give them a lot of options to do what they want. Really, they can train if they want to. They can start their preseason later if they. It's very flexible at Geelong, more so than pretty much every other club in Australia.
I think just seeing some of those guys up there, I think might have fired up some of the guys to play a little harder, because the middle quarters, the effort was pretty embarrassing. I think one play that really stood out to me was Tom Atkins just standing there watching Lukosius pick the ball up off the behind line. And honestly, I would consider, if you really want to send a message, to take him out next week. I think that's where you get Hardy in. I'd also like to see more of Max Holmes in the middle. I think he can play anywhere, and I think we need physicality in the middle. I said on our preview show, which went up a few hours before the round started, I wasn't worried about us in the midfield. I mean, I wasn't worried about us up front. I thought we'd get clapped in the midfield, and I was scared because Rowell had back-to-back down games, and sure enough, he was terrific. He plays so hard.
Yeah.
Him and Anderson both were tremendous. And then credit the Suns. They got contributions from guys you wouldn't expect. Lukosius just seems to eat us. Ben Long's actually played really well the last few weeks. I was questioning why he was in there and why they were playing him forward over some guys, and he's made his case. Sam Day played really well. Like, they were in excellent form. And also, I know he got subbed out, but I love Mac Andrew. And he got subbed out for Alex Davies, who back-to-back weeks has been awesome in the slippery conditions. Like how Tyson Stengel was so clean up at Brisbane in the rain. That's what Davies has done for them. So credit the Suns for playing really well. I didn't think this was a game we were going to win from the start, but when we saw this on the schedule, but the lack of effort was disappointing. And even out of guys like Atkins and, Jack Bowes kind of vanished in the middle quarters, played a good first quarter, laid a couple really huge tackles, played a great fourth quarter. I think that's kind of just indicative of how much we need Jack Bowes to be at his best. I hope he realizes from this, I need to lift for this team to be at its best. I hope he realizes that because he can do a lot. We have an award called the Polished Turd, which basically, if you're the best player on the losing team, you get a vote. It was Ryan. It was not close. Although I thought Toby Conway, he played pretty well. The turnover to give up the first goal was a rookie mistake that can't happen again. It's like everyone gets one. That was your one. But I thought after that, he actually was really sharp, and I'd much rather see him in there next week against Briggs, who's just been a force since the middle of last season. I think it was right after or right before we played them. Briggs got in over Pruce and Flynn and just took off and never looked back. Yeah, I'd rather see him stay in, Conway. I thought Mullen, looking at the comments, was okay. I thought all three of our Irish boys struggled in the conditions, which I don't think was all that surprising. I'd like to see more out of Mark O'Connor, whether it's using him as a tag or just, I think he's left something to be desired. Like I said, I think Atkins really has. I thought Blitzovs was just okay. We're still waiting on more out of him. And then Jack Henry, unfortunately, is just, go back to the comment made about him earlier, is like, there were times when he would make the play to get a spoil and then just stand there and watch guys go after the ball. And when it gets hard, he vanishes. And that's disappointing. And I'd much rather see Connor O'Sullivan. And I think it would have made sense to throw O'Sullivan in over Tui. Just we were undersized at so many spots defensively against Lukosius and Day. Day gave us a lot of trouble. I think Zach Guthrie had to go up against him a couple times. Zach Guthrie was only okay tonight, which makes it the worst game of the year for him, which, he was due for a down game. I'm not going to worry about that. Tom Stewart is going to cop some of it because he's so visible. But I think we need that second defender, whether that be DeConing when he gets back in or Jack Henry, who, again, I would give him a week off, at minimum a week, and I'd like to see more of Connor O'Sullivan because Henry's just not cutting it. I don't think Atkins is really cutting it. I mentioned I'd throw Holmes into the middle because without Dangerfield in there, we're having some trouble. We're having some real trouble against top midfielders. And again, Rowell coming off of really good back-to-back, really poor back-to-back games. This was kind of inevitable from him. But you can beat them even when Rowell shows up. And he was awesome. Yeah, I think.
What happens if you throw Max Holmes in the midfield and he doesn't get his 30 touches, he doesn't get 800 meters gained, all that sort of stuff. What does that do to Geelong, though? I think you're right. We need a bit of a hard edge. We need someone who's going to.
I think we can get O'Sheen to do some of that, honestly.
True.
Some of the stuff out of the back. O'Sheen and O'Connor carrying out of the back, I think, would work pretty well. And then, Atkins is where I think Hardy can get his crack at it. Yeah, let's stick with Conway. I thought he was one of our better pieces. I mean, my list of positives tonight is short, but Shannon Neal.
Sorry, he's too old. He needs to be managed.
And then my guess is, if we had Cameron tonight, I think Ollie Dempsey gets managed in some capacity, whether that's as, he's just the sub or he's out entirely. He looks like he could use a rest. I'm not going to be hard on him because I think he's done pretty well overall, but I'd rather see. I'd like to see him get a week where he kind of gets his load lightened a bit, because I think we're asking a lot out of a kid who hasn't had much of a break.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when you go over the film review, I think you highlight Neil keeping the effort up after dropping some pretty easy marks. And like, the conditions didn't help, but one team was clearly more prepared for them. And I thought we would have been fine after how well we did in the wet at Brisbane. I mean, it's not like there was a fresh coat of lube on the ball every time we were going for it, because they had no issue. And yes, they play in a humid place to begin with, and they've been up there for a week. But the disparity was way, way more than it should have been. So, yeah, hopefully this was what we needed. I'm glad the umpiring didn't affect the game, but it was awful. Once again, two different standards for holding the ball. What's out on the full and what's a throw in. This guy, Peter Bales, who was number 35, was way worse than Roseberry, and Roseberry was not good. But I'm glad that isn't what decided the game. Just ultimately, the Suns were bigger, stronger, more physical. That is not a Freddie Mercury jacket. That is just a bunch of lanyards and like old media credentials I have.
Whoops. No. Oh. Okay.
But you could see, and I think the camera angle and just the sheer size of the ground really makes it apparent how much room they had through the middle. Like last week, you saw it right off of center bounces, where right away Butters would get a clearance. I mean, there were so many times the camera would pan out and you just see them running forward, and it felt like they had two extra men on the ground.
Yeah.
And, whether it was Swallow or Fiorini or how many different guys that had so much room, Ainsworth, you name it. And that's got to get cleaned up. Someone's got to be able to get in there and keep up with the speed and physicality, because right now our midfield's not there. And it was unfortunately a down game for Parfitt, who I really thought, going up north, going home, he'd lift. He struggled a bit. Maybe you take him out for a week, but I'm still pleased with his season overall. I thought Bruin was decent, but you saw a good first quarter out of Bose, and then you saw what happened when he struggled in the second and third quarters. I think my biggest takeaway from tonight is we need the version of Jack Bose that showed up in the first quarter. When he shows up, the team follows.
So much love for Jack Bose out there. I just don't see it. I must be the only one.
Last year, but I looked at the way he's played when we've won games, and I looked at, again, the first quarter where, frankly, we got outplayed in the first quarter. They had more scoring shots. We just did a good job capitalizing on breakouts and counterattacks. But, he came out ready to play. Like, he was fired up against his old club and just driving dudes into the ground, great tackling, and then you barely noticed him again until the fourth quarter. And also, until a few minutes before he got subbed out, really didn't notice Cam Guthrie tonight. I don't know if it's just he needs, he's not 100%, but yeah,
the Guthrie brothers had 2 touches between them at quarter time.
Yeah, Zach, again, I think he was due for a bad game, and he was thrust into some tough matchups because everyone was thrust into bigger matchups and that was the domino effect from Tui being in there.
Yeah.
There was the difference in size without DeConing was noticeable.
Was Tui always going to play tonight, do you think? Was that always going to be the plan, or do you genuinely believe DeConing got injured late?
I don't know. I think he came in late.
He was never going to be selected. You don't like going into a game against Gold Coast where you've got to deal with King, Day, Lukosius, let alone anyone else who might float into the vicinity. You don't go, we're going to take out our key defender and put in a small defender.
I just thought
come forward pocket, like whatever we want to do with Zach Tui. Their hand was kind of forced, and who else were on the emergencies list?
Did O'Sullivan travel? Because I would have much rather seen him just from a matchup standpoint.
I think he did travel. Yeah, he was an emergency.
Well, he would have made more sense just because, again, Guthrie against Will Day, who's just a really big guy. That's that's setting them up for failure. So I would have liked to see him, but I don't want to bother looking at the optimistic big picture stuff because, yes, we're fine there, but I didn't feel that way during the game. You asked, though, and I'll leave with this, you asked when to press the panic button. See how we look next week. Giants are good. They're struggling a little right now. They're a little banged up. We need to capitalize if that's the case still. But if we don't blow past Richmond, I mean, you know how bad it was a couple years ago when the Eagles had to pull all their top-ups? It's like that. I mean, it's really bad. I would favor North to beat them right now. They're really struggling. As much as I love watching Shea Bolton, we need to, we'll make up the percentage from tonight against the Tigers. If we don't do that, then I would be concerned. I would be extremely concerned.
I think we could play the Richmond every week. That'd be nice.
Feels weird saying that.
Yeah. We are playing him at home, though, aren't we?
Yes.
Right? We are.
It's a shame, it's a shame we didn't get to have them come down the highway when Ditma was coaching them.
Oh.
He would have had a fit.
We better win that one. I've almost accepted that we're going to be 7-4. I think I've almost accepted that now, but we better not be 7-5. We better not lose to Richmond. I'm telling you now.
No, this is where if you had told me, we'd be 7-3 at this point, or even 7-4 after next week, I would have expected losses to the Suns and Giants. But I probably would have expected to beat Port and maybe Melbourne and lose instead to the Lions and possibly the Crows. So again, big picture, it's not where we are standings wise, it's how we look. And just the midfield getting beaten in, and now we don't look like a premiership defense the last few weeks, which is really alarming. Like, giving up triple digits at all should not be in our DNA. So I'd like to see, again, more of O'Sullivan. Maybe when he's healthy, Jed Buse. Yeah, I hope the feeling from tonight sticks, and I hope it's fresh in their memories, even after having a couple extra days rest going into next week's game.
Something's got to change. Do you keep swinging blokes in and out of the squad? I don't know if that's the answer, but I think it's probably more going to change within the players that are out there tonight. They've got to figure out a way to turn this around. It's a pretty healthy list. Yes, there's players coming in and out, and it's an aging list, but we've had a reasonably charmed run with injuries so far this year. Dangerfield not being there, but we're going okay. There's not really that many excuses other than we've just lost our way a little bit. I can't really find it.
Someone needs to lift in Dangerfield's absence. Someone needs to be that number 2 defender to Stewart. Forward line, fine.
Yeah, we've got a good mix in the forward line. They're not. Tommy's not as great as he once was. Jezza has some good days and bad, but the mids and the smalls more than make up for any drop off from those two bigs.
Yes, there were some late points to help, but we got to 100 tonight. I mean, it was only 55 after 3, but we got to 100 without Jazz and without Hawkins. And with Neil unable to mark. But again, Neil made up for it with effort plays.
He didn't have hands. He's just trying to, I don't know.
Oven mitts.
Oven mitts?
Yeah.
Covered with lube. Yeah.
But again, if you want to go through the film and find like the good effort play and the bad effort play, the good effort play are the ones by Neil after he dropped marks, and the bad is, Atkins and Cola just standing there and watching Lukosius pick a ball up off the line.
Oh, that is not a great way. There's a lot of things that are going to keep me up tonight. That'll be one of them.
We had stuff like that last week too. Yeah, and guys watching Kane Farrell. That can't happen. That's not us.
Better not be. It better not be us. We've got another 14 weeks or thereabouts, 13 rounds of football to figure out what this Geelong team is. Hopefully it's good enough that we play in September. It's a long shot to win a premiership. Let's be honest. It's going to be a long shot. There's not many teams that lose 3 games in a row in a season and become premiers. That's pretty rare. It's probably happened before, but it's rare. So I want to be competitive. I want to be there in preliminary finals.
Give me reason to be excited and optimistic week in, week out.
Yeah, exactly. And let's be grateful for the success that we've had, because we expect we should expect Geelong to be great. That is our creed. That is who we are. We shouldn't expect mediocrity at this football club, but doesn't mean we can't be grateful for the good times that we've had as well. And the players, I guarantee you, the players don't accept it either. So they want to win. They're a competitive bunch of guys. They've just lost their way a little bit at the moment. No, hopefully they'll recapture it. They just need to I don't know what it is. Hopefully they know what it is, and hopefully the coaches can work with them to try and fix it and put some things back together. Because it's we've got the pieces there. It's just getting it to click again, and I don't know how that's going to happen, but I believe it's possible. But we've got to suck it up tonight, don't we, Ethan? We've got to suck it up, or today in your case, and we've just got to cop it on the chin. And congratulations to the Suns. They deserve everything they get, and I'm sure the AFL and the AFL umpiring department will sleep very nice tonight as well.
I hope the Suns replicate this next week against Carlton. It would be nice if they could win an away game
at Marvel Stadium. Well, if they're the real deal, they'll beat Carlton, and Carlton's probably looking at this game thinking, "Uh-oh, we're in trouble." We didn't really want to be playing against. We thought they probably marked this off as a win. Carlton did, but I'm not so sure anymore. I'm not. They
haven't won a game outside. They haven't won a game outside of their 2 home sites. So
no. I might leave it there, mate. I've got to work tomorrow, so I've got to get to bed. But I appreciate you coming on again. And as I said earlier, you are the fan favourite.
I don't know how, but thank you.
Well, Bianca would be the fan favourite for anyone under 18, I suppose. But for everyone else, I think you're the number one. They love having you on, and lots of thumbs up for the robe. Everyone loves the robe. Hopefully, that's a regular thing.
I need to take a shower, so
it's all right. I keep wearing my Kathmandu jacket. I'm sitting in the garage, and it's maybe 12 degrees at the moment in Geelong, so it's cold. But it is what it is. But thanks again, much appreciated. Enjoy your Thursday or Friday, whatever day it is.
Thursday, yeah.
We'll hopefully see you in about 10 days' time for when we go again.
Yep.
Take care, mate. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
All right. Guys, that's the end of another post-game live. It's just a couple of minutes before midnight. Dickie Nee, are you still there? He's kind of there. There he is. He's bobbing away. You've done well.
Oh, I've got nothing else to do, right?
What did you make of that? What's the energy of the Cats fans out there? Are they? I feel like it's starting to turn. They're getting a little bit unsure about this club.
Yeah, I think. Obviously, I think it's fresh, so we're all, I think, a little bit stung by the whole thing. But in reality, if we try and look at it for what it is, and I've pointed out some stats that don't necessarily paint a rosy picture as well, with the shots on goal at the bare minimum. Though, cheers to 100 games, 100 days for pointing out that crazy stat before, that in his entire career, Matt Rowell hasn't taken a contested mark yet. That's awesome, and I went and verified that. That's legit. We'll start calling 100 games, 100 days swamp thing in a sec. But look, today's the odd one out. And I guess maybe that first quarter against Port. Actually, there's probably been about 5 quarters so far that I'm genuinely concerned about. Melbourne, could have gone either way, really. Things just didn't work out for us. The final 3 quarters against Port, fine. Even there, I don't count this as a win, but our final quarter there against Gold Coast, both teams scored 45 points apiece. That's an unreal quarter.
I know. What do we kick 7 goals in the last quarter or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we broke even though. Yeah, 45 apiece for both teams. So we couldn't even win it. But anyway, we had a bit of a mare today. what I would like to see, I guess, and I don't think they'll do it because the club is so bullish and hard nosed about no, this is the way we do things, this is our plan, and outside influences aren't going to be a factor. But I would love to see them. I mean, Hawkins will be back because he's done his week of management. Cameron presumably back after his concussion. Mitch Duncan, everyone comes rolling back in. I just hope they don't go, okay, now we're going to toss out, your week for management, those sort of things. I want them to go with this week, their 23 that would be the sort of 23 that they would potentially want to bring into a grand final if they were playing it this week. Just to give themselves every opportunity to make that big statement, remind everyone that, no, okay, look, we had a couple bad weeks, but don't worry, we got this. And that's good for the competition. That's good for the fan base. It's good for everyone, I think. Well, not good for the competition. I think the competition's well sick of us, and I'm sure they probably loved what happened tonight. But for all Geelong-related people to come out there next week, stack the deck, hopefully get the chocolates against the Suns, make a statement. Sorry, against the look at me, the Swans, GWS, all that sort of rubbish from the match. Make a statement against the Giants, I should say. That would, I think, shush all the negativity. As I, the moment says, flex is required, and I think there's an opportunity there to flex.
Bit of double cobra action in the forward pocket after a Jeremy Cameron goal.
Yeah, or Crackatini, whatever.
Crackatini. Double tinny.
Oh, is that what that was? That's what that was, right?
I don't know. I'm trying to do the double cobber on TV. Clearly, I need to practice my double cobbers a little bit more. I'm going to wrap it up, Paul. Time for bed.
Right.
Time to toss and turn all through the night. It's been good. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Much appreciated, especially after a loss. We've done probably the biggest numbers we've ever done on this show for a team that's lost 3 games on the trot.
Why ever would that be?
So clearly there's emotion out there. So I'm sorry that you couldn't be here for a win, but please come back next week when we smash the Giants. My early prediction is Jezza comes back, and he's a bit scratchy, but he gets himself into a situation where he kicks a goal with the last minute of the game to put us in front. It'll be another heart stopper, but Jezza to put the Cats in front in the last minute of the game. The losing streak is over. You heard it here first. Guaranteed. Take that to the bank, everyone. That's happening. 100% that's happening. Paul, thank you for being on the buttons again and for popping up every now and then. Much appreciated.
Happy to bring the Forey nickname to the table, and
yep,
I'm sure Jack Henry's loving it right now. But
if you live in Geelong, if you live in Victoria, if you have the means, the finances to get to the Tom Hawkins game, the record-breaking game, please be there. If you can't make it and you've got every reason to get there, you just don't. Shame on you. No, Tom Hawkins, for all his bad form or poor form this year, he might be turning it around pretty soon, hopefully. But at the very least, let's show him some love next week. He's earned it. 3-time premiership player. Still a chance at a 4th if things can turn around a little bit first, but 3-time premiership player, an absolute legend of the club. And he deserves all the respect that he's going to get coming his way this week. So, all right. Go Cats. I want to be able to say that with a bit of energy, but I can't at the moment. But go Cats.
Remain Geelong strong, everyone.
Stay Geelong strong. Be one in hoops. All that fun stuff. And we'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care. See you later.